Logan Paul claims that he knows who his next opponent will be. I got to use the word claim. I don't know a time that Logan's ever lied. It's just very unusual that you would have an announcement that you know who you're going to fight and then not reveal who you're going to fight. Look, there's three ways to get the word out. You can telephone, telegraph, or tell a fighter. So now we are trusting that Logan is keeping a secret, but there's also another camp somewhere who's keeping a secret. Full respect. Whoever that, great job. But it's a big thing to ask us to believe. I don't know if he's got his fight lined up. He did go through a process of explaining who it wasn't going to be. Put Anderson Silva on that list. And he laid out what he's looking for, and he let us really into his mind. He was very open and candid. He said, I'm not setting out to be a full-time boxer. I don't know that I want to be the world champion. I want to put on really big shows. I want to pick opponents who are respectable, who the audience will buy into, who has a platform that can bring something so that we can put on massive events. Now, I realize he's stating the obvious for us, but I appreciated that he came out and that he said it. And it's a very interesting spot. The Pauls are now saying who they are going to fight. That is a very rare deal in life, not just in this sport. In any realm of entertainment, where you will tell the audience what you're going to do and the audience accepts it, is rare. Generally the other way around. I watched a couple of careers implode around me, and they were a couple of my favorite guys. You guys remember Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey, for me, was great in comedy. I would put Dumb and Dumber, the movie, as one of the funniest movies that was ever made. I will also give Jim Carrey the credit for that. But he makes faces, and he does voices, and he does silly little stuff that we all appreciate. When he wanted to become a serious actor, he found himself right out of Hollywood. And I'm watching the same thing happening with Steve Carell. Steve Carell, who played Michael Scott, one of the greatest, most endearing characters in the history of television, has now decided that he wants to be a serious actor, which he's not. He's not skilled at it. He's bombed every time he's tried. And moreover, Steve Carell single-handedly picks the worst projects of anybody in Hollywood to work on. It's not like he has bad advisors. I won't hear it. I won't hear that his manager, it's him personally. Somebody is getting to him. You guys see Narnia? Welcome to Narnia. But I could go on and on. They're terrible. And I'm bringing this not to put down one of my favorite character TV actors. I'm saying to bring to you, he's attempting to tell the audience what the audience will like. It doesn't work that way. We tell you, hey, Jim Carrey, start doing the voices and the faces again. Hey, Steve Carell, go back into the office. Your name's now Michael Scott. We will tell you. And if you try to do it in reverse, it doesn't work. And Steve Carell is not going to be around very much longer. He's going to be in obscurity like Jim Carrey in a short period of time. What's my point? Well, the point is, it's a great deal, and if Paul can continue to do it, I will be impressed. It's just a slippery slope. It really is. At some point, you have to also listen. You have to have your ear out. You have to listen. You have to make sure, because the Pauls have done something fantastic. And Jake can really box, and I believe him. I really believe that Jake is a serious and hungry guy. Logan, talented, tough athlete. A little bit different. But Logan's even telling the story the same way. It's a little less important to Logan. The big event, the size of it, the attention and the attraction, he will use boxing as a tool to achieve that. I get it. I respect the whole thing. The platform business is big. These guys have come over from being stars. They were Disney stars. I don't know them as Disney stars. They were Disney stars. I know them from YouTube. And now I know through all of social media, and they got the 20 million followers combined, but they were still able to get that audience to come on this journey with them. One doesn't just happen. Shaq is a star. Shaq wanted to be a singer. Nobody wanted to hear him sing. Roy Jones Jr. was very famous. Millions of fans all over the place wanted to become a rapper. Didn't work. Garth Brooks, who sings country, was willing to continue to sing country. He just wanted to do it under the name Chris Gaines for reasons of a marketing bomb of an idea of epic proportions that I've never understood and never will understand, but he was still the same guy doing the same thing. He just wanted you to call him a different name. And that didn't work. It's very hard to get people to come along the journey. Audience decides what they like. If they decide they like it in you, boom. You now have a contract. Here's our relationship. You're doing a certain thing. I like it. Keep doing it. I'll keep watching. That's our relationship. You have to have a real skill to do what the Paul brothers did. You have to have a real skill to change course from making silly faces in videos on YouTube to getting into the squared circle and fighting under the Queensberry rules. I mean, this is a 180 like no other, and they have brought that audience. That is the brilliance. And I've studied this. I've been studying this. I had conversations with other people that are like me, that like to know the psychology, what works and why. Do a little round table. I'm not satisfied on any answer or guess or hypothesis that we've come up with yet. I don't know how these guys pull it off. I don't know how they continue to pull it off. The Paul brothers are the most powerful thing in boxing. I do not believe that Canelo is drawing more than the Pauls. I don't believe that. I don't know that we'll ever get those numbers from DAZN and Showtime and ever fully be able to hash this out, but I do know that Paul made that statement at one point. I do know that Canelo and promoters and executives, decision-making roles heard the comment and they didn't deny it. Very fascinating thing. How far can they go with this? And Logan's telling you what he wants now. He's telling you that he wants somebody with a platform, somebody that can be his partner, somebody that can come out there and help him. They'll go ahead and fight. You can have the spoils, or I'll take the spoils from you, but you need to make sure a lot of people are going to tune in and watch. It's very reasonable. It's the same thing every promoter wants to do. It's the one piece that very few fighters ever understand. And even the few fighters who do finally understand it either don't know how or never take that first step in making sure that they have an audience that they speak to, that they engage with, that they go back and forth with ideas, that they listen to, that they take on the journey. Not about the wins and the losses. Will that audience come with you on the journey? The three biggest stars we have in MMA right now, Conor McGregor, George Masvidal, Nate Diaz, in that order. The three biggest stars in MMA, without question, all have one thing in common. They all lost their last fight. If I looked a little closer, they might have lost their last two, but they might have lost their last three, each of them. I don't even know. But they have an audience who's willing to come along the journey. They have a platform. They engage enough. They talk. They glad hand. They make appearances enough for their audience who they took the time to learn. Very fascinating, the people that can do it. Paul's letting you in on something here. It might not sound like some sophisticated line of thought, but if you want to do business with Paul, he has now told you very clearly what it is he's looking for and what it is you must bring to the table. He says he has an opponent. We know who it's not going to be. He said it will not be Anderson. He said it will not be Vitor. He's got me curious. I'd like to know who it is. What do you think?